discuss the text with a partner. Okay, we are all partners right now. In particular, what we learn about the you of the narration. What is you? Second person, good. And the tone, mood created. Tone by the writer, mood by the reader. So thinking of this use of the second person, right? Second person you. What effect, if any, definitely there would be some effect, does it have on the tone or the mood of the piece? For example, if the writer is showing his viewpoint, what effect this you creates? And if I'm, as a reader, I'm having something from the written expressions, what kind of mood I get after reading this you inside? Okay, first thing is this. Think about the fact that the narrator is simultaneously describing a character doing something and using direct address to the reader. Look at it again. Think about the fact that the narrator is simultaneously, the narrator who is narrating the story, he's describing a character doing something, he's telling what the action going on, what action goes on in that story, and using a direct address to the reader. For example, he is telling about the story and talking to us as well. Remember this thing. He's describing a character at the same time, direct address to the reader. These things. How is he creating this effect? The use of tenses, you have to see, again, tenses, the range and nature of what is described and how, what and how something is presented to you. The positioning of the reader in terms of how means, as a reader, what do we think ourselves, where we are at, about how and where. In terms of how and where, the writer directs our gaze, means what is he asking us to see? What is implied? Implied means a hidden meaning suggested by what we are told or not told, the use of speech and dialogue. Okay, these everything which we have done already. You're finding out. This is the brief commentary. It's a main question of P1, that is commentary on the style and language. Now I'm taking you back through the gate and up the walk towards the front door. It will be good to get this gun belt off. The jacket, the boots. You have earned your supper. You is there, yes. You have earned. Is he talking to us? Is this you, us? You have earned your supper. It means he's talking to the readers that you have earned your supper. It will be good to get this belt off. Which belt? This belt, this gun belt. Do we have this gun belt? Whose gun belt, jacket, and boots he's talking about? No, for example, if I'm coming in, can't I say to myself, what about this? You have earned your supper. Why is he saying you have earned? Why is he not saying I have earned my supper? Good point, that you are appreciating yourself. You have done something. So you are just thinking loudly to make yourself, inner self understand that you have earned your supper. You have done some great job. Locked just as you instructed. Just as you instructed, okay? You jangle the big key ring. Jangle means jingle, means you're moving the big key ring, searching. Open the door and the light blinds you. Open the door. Who is this you again? You jangle, you, okay? You, this second person is very important here. So what is this second person doing on the tone and the mood? What about the tone? For example, the writer is writing about himself, if we say, what effect this you have on the tone of the writer? You instructed, you jingle the big ring, big key ring, searching. Okay, let's read more, then we'll try to understand. Open the door, okay, and light open. What is there? Open. What is there? Imperative, very good. Open the door and light blinds you. Fresh bread and the salty crackle of fat, something to eat there, fresh bread and the salty crackles of fat. On the floor of the sitting room lies Amelia's stuffed duck. Who is Amelia? What do you think? Another character coming in. Who is Amelia? Her stuffed duck. What do you think? Daughter. She can be because she's a child, I think. Stuffed duck. Only stuffed toys are carried by the children in the home. So we can say Amelia must be the child, must be the daughter of this man. Is a girl and a child, a baby. Good. Okay. Amelia's stuffed duck toppled on its side. You undo the gun belt. Okay, you undo. It means he is wearing the gun belt. He's coming from outside with these things. You undo the gun belt. Martha won't have it around the child. What do you understand now? Another character. So mothers are like this. They get these things away from the children, these guns and the bullets. So he's saying you undo the gun belt. Martha won't have it around the child. Okay, coming near the babies, these things. And stow it high in the front closet. Stow it means take it away, hide it somewhere. Stow it high in the front closet, thumping the door shut to announce yourself. Why you coming there? Now, do you have any idea that what is the effect of this you on the tone and the mood? When no one comes, you make your way to the kitchen. Okay. Now we have to decide that what is this you here right now? At this point, after reading 2 paragraphs at least, 2 or 3 paragraphs, now we make a decision. Who is this you? That he's the narrator who's being described here as a character, and he himself is calling him you. We agreed on one point. Fine. Now tell me, why is he doing this? Why he can't say, I have earned my supper. Locked just as I have instructed. I jangle the big key. I undo the gun belt. He's directly taking the readers at the same point. Yet you. So you are just, when you read you, it means you are there with him. Fine. And what is he doing with himself? For example, when he says I, he's more closed, right? When he's himself calling him you instead of I, what is done here for his own character? He's putting a barrier, right? He's putting a barrier between him and the doings which are done by him. Means he is not, he doesn't own his things. When he says you all the time, it means he doesn't own that much. If I say I get this gun belt off, it means I own my doings. But right now somebody ordered him for these things and he's doing it for forcefully. That's why he is not putting himself as I there. If we look for the tenses, it will be good. Through the gate, walk, present, it is here, future going on. You have earned. You have earned means that is a present perfect tense. As you instructed, it's a mixed tenses here, past tense. Why is it past, present, future? Lies, present. Won't have. You make, when no one comes, you make your way to the kitchen. It's empty. What is empty? You're going to the kitchen. It's empty. A wisp. A wisp is used for the steam. A wisp of steam. It means the steam's going up. It's a wisp of steam. For example, a piece, a chunk of steam. So a wisp of steam floating up, right? A ring of the steam is floating up through a hole in the stove top. So only a wisp of tea floating up through the hole. It means somebody cooked something there or not. Okay. Martha, you call. Now he's calling. Martha, okay, again, might possible, is calling his wife right now. In the dining room, the table is set. Your milk poured. The high chair between the 2 seats, so you can each minister to her. What is this? In the dining room, table is set. Now it is present tense. Milk is poured. Okay, milk is poured. the high chair between the two seats, so you can each minister. Minister means taking care of. Between the two seats, so you can each minister to her. Good. It means the little baby is there, so she will be helped by the parents. Good. The tray holds a spray of crumbs, a slug of gravy. Maybe they couldn't wait. Okay. Again, holds and means present tense. Remember this thing in this text, all mixed tenses going on. What does it show? You have to tell me at the end. What is the effect of the mixed tenses? The back of the house is dark. Mata, again, calling wife, you try your room first. Peering in the door, you try again, means he's talking about himself. He's talking to himself. You try your room first. Peering in the door, does it mean that he's looking for somebody? She's not on the bed. And immediately you turn to the nursery. You turn to the nursery. It's black. And you have to leave the hallway. It's black. It means he's talking about himself. Before you see Marta sitting in the rocking chair. Before Marta sees sitting in the rocking chair, her hair a bright frame, her face dark, impossible to read. G, what do you understand now? What about these characters? Melia, Marta, living with this man, but that man is not really talking to them, no direct speech. He's talking to himself only, not to the person. And if he's saying Marta, why doesn't Marta answer? Marta, you call. Marta is not replying. Why not? First thing is this, that bringing you inside. Fine, good. As a spectator, as a witness, right? But second thing is at distance now from the character. He doesn't own much of his own character. So what is he showing? What about the things that are described there? What about what the characters described there? What do you understand by them? Why are they not speaking to him? Are they dead? No, the answer. What does mixed tenses show? It will be good. He's thinking about the future. Sometimes it will be happening good. You have earned your supper. You have means present perfect. Some actions before that happened. So now you are having this supper. Something you did well, no, you have earned your supper. She's lying, she lies, she's sitting. So why mixed tenses? Any answer? Okay. So means narrator is somewhere in the past, then somewhere in the present. Mostly it is present and past, right, going on. So because something is happening in front of his eyes, something so going on, that's why sitting, that's why present continuous tense going on. So it means that he is somewhere stuck in the past and the present. Fine. Mixed happenings. Any other point of view? Routine work described and the actions in that routine work, what he is doing, what is done there. Fine. Then how they are described, how they are presented to the reader. What do you think? Is it the usual way to present it to the reader? Not exactly.